Welcome back to a new video. I know it's been a while, but I've been working on this. Yesterday, I watched Man of Steel, and I thought it was a pretty bad movie. It's not good. But I also watched the Superman movie 2 months ago, and it dropped. Wait, what? No, it's been 3 months. It's October now. And I also watched a movie today, Captain America: First Avenger. This is my favorite superhero. This is my second favorite. Okay. Third favorite superhero movie, I like Winter Soldier, the Batman more. Probably will drop down to 4 when the Batman Part 2 drops. But I like it a lot. So I thought I was about, but the DCU has such a bad structure, that might have been a problem. Well, the MCU has a goated structure, that might be a very good success. So I thought in my head, MCU but bad. What I mean with MCU but bad, like I did with my 98, I took every MCU movie, like the MCU structure, because I think it's good. But now I replace every DCU movie with a counterpart as a Marvel movie. So I think we should get into it. Captain America: First Avenger is the replacement for Man of Steel. We will start off with Steve Rogers and Bucky Barnes together. We're having a conversation. Bucky has now just entered the army. He brings his friend Steve to meet the wonderful scientist who's working on a serum that can make a super soldier, Howard Stark. Steve is truly inspired by Howard Stark's intelligence and becomes some sort of assistant. Then he meets the beautiful young lady, Peggy Carter. As he's now expanded to this, I did not find a better picture, sorry. As he's now expanded to the experiment, he is turned into the super soldier. And then he's dressed up with his first Captain America suit, as he actually starts talking to Peggy. And Howard makes a joke to Bucky that Steve got some charisma of this. The movie then cuts to Steve on a fighting Red Skull. It's more like a collage of timeline, but this movie is very badly structured, and it's really structured. His shield cuts down planes and shit. It's really cool. And then it goes over to him and Bucky and start having a conversation that he's looking like a goddamn mascot. So then he turns into the stone face American logo. Captain America! Then he goes to battle Red Skull again, and he beats his ass. But he do get frozen in the ice. And as he wakes up, and the eye traces as him waking up on the ice and meeting Nick Fury. Captain America: Civil War. We start out with Captain America and Nick Fury have a conversation, as he gets an updated suit that was actually designed in the 40s. As he then goes up to fight him. Oh, guys. As he then goes off to fight the vigilante Iron Man. They have a close battle, which ends with Steve sucking his shield and his auto-ejector. But then we cut to Bucky. Then we now get to know Oscar's kidnapped behind him, as he's talking to Arum Soda as a computer program. And then cuts to Bucky and Steve having a file well, because now he doesn't wear a mouse. And they have a close combat fight, and then Steve is able to knock off the brainwashing by destroying the star on his arm. That then cuts to Iron Man and War Machine, as War Machine's armor has been hacked, and it's fucking with him. They then, after Iron Man saves him, they then have a 1v1, and it's also revealed that Bucky killed Tony's parents, so he tries to kill him. But then in the end, they all have to organize and fight the Hydra Stomper. And it ends with Steve and Tony having a conversation, where they're saying, we might have to form some kind of team if that threat ever emerges again. Thunderbolts. The movie starts out with General Ross hulking out for the first time. As Nick Fury talks to Hawkeye, Mockingbird, and Black Widow about organizing a team to take him down, and more of a secret team. Black Widow goes to her old fling, Red Guardian. I know this is her dad in the movies, but in the comics, they're actually married for a short time. As Mockingbird goes to an old military for an old shield friend, the US agent. As Hawkeye heard about Bucky and knows he's not part of the Avengers and asks him to join. The news thunderbolts up and form, and they're now going out on their first mission together. The mission begins with all of them attacking him. The mission begins with all of them attacking Red Hulk, and Red Hulk thinking he has a chance, but he really does. He beats their ass. What they realize is they weren't fighting as a team, so they have to reorganize and find a possible way to defeat him. And that is exactly what they do. They defeat him. They fight him in tough combat and is able to succeed. And then the movie ends with all of them standing together, having a conversation like, what is our plan to do now? I think we should stay at team, says Bucky. And the US agent says, yeah, as long as I get paid. And everybody's in agreement. The Thunderbolt has been formed. 4. The movie starts out with Odin telling them he's about to die from a sickness he's got, and asks them who should be his successor. They both make cases for themselves. Then he talks to Loki about him wanting him to be his successor because of his intelligence. And then he talks to Thor, telling him he wants he to be his successor because of his raw brute strength. He also has Heimdall, who he thinks. And Heimdall, the top 1G that he is, tells him about Thor should be his successor. Thor becomes the successor to the throne, though he tells Loki is not so happy about that and attacks Thor. And they have a short battle that ends with Thor killing Loki. The Avengers. There's going to be a cut from the wonderful. Yeah, it's going to be a cut. But now, the original cuts are going to be more like the original film, while these are darker. The movie starts out with War Machine, Iron Man, and Captain America talking about who they should add to their team, because 3 is more of a trio, not a team. Oh, sorry, I pressed the wrong button. Cap talks to Black Panther, because he knows his shield is made of vibranium, and he joins him because of his grandpa's help in the war efforts. As Iron Man talks to a known hero in the city, Doctor Strange, as he accounts of Thor, the Midgard's protector, who comes down and leaves the throne to Heimdall, as he comes down to join the Avengers. The team is formed as Ebony Moth is attacking Earth, and they now have to organize. And they lose in the beginning. Oh, sorry, I have to cut that out. And they lose in the beginning, but then Cap gets a new suit that is updated by Iron Man. They all get on a little training arc, and then they defeat him. And they all decide to organize the Avengers Protocol. Black Panther. The movie starts out with M'Baku and Killmonger organizing a plan to take over Wakanda. As Black Panther is returning from the Avengers film, as Shuri is telling him about this plot she overheard. As then he goes to fight Apungu, because he doesn't know of Killmonger yet. Killmonger comes to help out his friend, or his more like his partner. He doesn't succeed though, as Shuri comes and keeps M'Baku as he runs and as Killmonger and T'Challa has to fight. It ends with Killmonger and M'Baku standing waterfall as Shuri blasts them both to pieces. Very dark, very gripping. Spider-Man Homecoming. The movie starts off with Peter, Miles, and Gwen having a conversation as Peter leaves for class. As MJ walks past them, and she asks if they have seen Peter. As then he meets up with Harry and MJ to go to class in college. Then it cuts to Spider-Man having a conversation with Norman Osborn. It's a little bit like Freddie Mercury, where he works for an husband. As Norman gives him a cool new upgraded suit that's inspired by the comics, like Shazam's suit. As it then cuts to him fighting the Green Goblin. Dun dun dun. And he wins. And finds out it's Norman, the person that gave him the suit. and he swears to never bound it again. As he then goes and tells Gwen and Miles that it's not how we get to know he's been affected by their own spider bites, that he's Spider-Man. X-Squad. The movie starts off with Black Widow and Mockingbird having a conversation about the Thunderbolts not being sneaky enough as Taskmaster attacks them. They have a short fight with him as they're about to lose as Kate Bishop pulls up and saves them. They are now organized their own little team. There's not Nick Fury doesn't really have to know about. As it then goes on to go and fight Taskmaster and win. As Nick Fury finds out about this team, he makes them a little non-official and asks Kate if she wants to join the Suicide Squad for Love and Thunder. The movie starts out with Thor, now with a new weapon, Stormbreaker, because he needed something more powerful and to travel easier between the realms. As Heimdall and him is having a conversation, as Loki has now organized himself with Hela. As Loki then comes up to attack Thor, he beats him easily. And then Loki, and then Hela appears, as Heimdall disappears, because she sent him away. As they have a short battle that Thor is losing, as Hela disappears to fight Heimdall, and Heimdall loses. But then Thor is able to turn Loki to his side and defeat Hela. Just got Loki's evil, but then it ends with Thor and Loki having their own little battle that Thor wins. Avengers Endgame. Not really. This is the Avengers original cut that the original director wanted. Avengers Endgame. Where it starts out almost the same, with them having a conversation and them collecting T'Challa and Stephen Strange. But in this cut, Doctor Strange, doesn't want Thor to join. He doesn't recommend him. Thor just appears and tells him he will join to protect Midgard. And they organize their team a lot quicker and a lot better. Their fight against Ebony Maw goes actually a lot better. They lose more because their team is unorganized. And then, as they go in a little, not training arc this time, a more like a friendship arc of them trying to all agree on something. And then they're able to fight and defeat Ebony Maw. Thunderbolts. Or the Thunderbolts. The movie starts out with now US agents wearing a copy of Captain America's suit. Bucky not carrying heavy weaponry and Hawkeye in a new suit. And Red Guardian is even more and got a lot better. The movie starts out with the four SHIELD agents having a conversation about these semi-criminals they're working with. As the US agent is telling them that they think bad about them, but they don't think they're on the same level, as they go into a short battle. Hawkeye is fighting US agent, as Mockingbird, Kate Bishop, and Black Widow is fighting Red Guardian and White Wolf, the Buckers now started calling himself. They also come agree and tell Toms that they should not be fighting each other. They should be comrades. Because they are. As Hawkeye sadly gets killed by US agent. Venom. The movie starts off with Venom going to attack Eddie as the Fantastic Four comes to try to stop it. And he transforms. They have a short battle, but it then ends with them teaming up to defeat Null. As they defeat Null, sadly in the battle, Johnny Storm passes away. So Eddie gets asked if he wants to join the Fantastic Four. He accepts it. Spider-Man 2, the second to last project. Because the guy who plays Chadwick Boseman still dies in this verse. The movie starts out with Peter, Miles, and Gwen now sorting all their suit as Spidey and Ghost Spider. It starts out with Peter leaving them behind because he thinks he's too big of a threat as he goes up to fight Dr. Octavius. But he's not capable, so Miles and Gwen has to come and save him. Miles also gets captured and he gets held up by Nick. But Gwen, thanks to her special ability of being a woman, she's just a lot sneakier than them, as Miles still has his not unlocked his lack of powers yet. As he then brings them down and they all organize. As they then all go to attack and defeat them together. Multiverse of Madness. The movie starts out with Iron Man in his new armor and Doctor Strange finding a kaiju in the middle of the city. they're able to defeat him. They have a little bit conversation about the Justice League not really doing anything in these days. As Dr. Strange opens a portal and wanders into it, as he meets Superior Iron Man. As Superior Iron brings him to this form of Justice League, with Captain Carter and Superior Strange, as they all organize to fight this new threat. This realm is still in 2016, as they now have to fight the Blue Skull, the Ironmonger, the Hydra Stomper, and Winter Soldier. Superior Iron Man, there's a robot, fights Hydra Stomper and defeats him pretty easily. As Captain Carter is fighting her old friend Bucky. As the two strangers is fighting Red Skull, but in this verse has magical abilities. That's why he's blue. It ends with Doctor Strange returning to his own world, where he meets Black Suit Spider-Man. This is like how they switched Batman. Instead of it being Iron Man, Spider-Man has been the hero that has been for a long time, and Iron Man is the new one. Ant-Man. The movie starts out... What the hell? The movie starts out with Ant-Man fighting the Red Guardian that has now left the Thunderbolts and become more of his own little hero. As then Hank Pym goes back and Janet Van Dyne is talking about you don't be harmed enough, and he's just not really going for it. As we see Yellow Jacket talking to US Agent that is also hired. US Agent be taken out by a small Ant-Man. Most of these two fights are just there to show off how much power he has. I am really sorry about that little time thing that just showed up. I do not know how to take that away. It just came. As Yellow Jacket is now tired and goes to fight Ant-Man, he's on his own. But he goes into the quantum realm accidentally. As Janet Van Dyne and Hank Pym make up. US Agent. The show starts out with US Agent after Ant-Man, as he and his little friend Jeremiah is now having a conversation about them wanting to be true heroes, as Mary Jane Watson tells them about Arnim Zola. As they then goes off to fight Arnim Zola, they think they're tough shit, but they're not, and they get their ass kicked. It's then he sends in Taskmaster that kills them a lot easier. Not really kills them, he beats their ass very badly. As they then go off to fight Arnim Zola, that is still capable of defeating them, until they unlock their true friendship power, is able to defeat them. The movie starts out because Captain America is technically retired, with the US Agent taking up the mantle. And hope you like this little funny thing that I came up with. I know there's already plenty of videos doing this, but I put my own spin on it. Hope you enjoyed it.